Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. This is your host, Golden Weeb, and I definitely did not walk 5 miles yesterday to clear my head after watching Grave of the Fireflies and Barefoot Ken back to back. Yeah, that was not fun. Anyways, today's subreddit is r/Talesofneckbeards. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for the cringe. Neckbeard nonces on Discord, then tries to justify it and blame the victim. No. For all you Americans, a nonce is what we Brits call a pedo. I am unsure where the slang originated from, as are probably most Brits when it comes to British slang. Also, the age of consent in the UK is 16. It should be 18 in my opinion. However, sexting is still 18 plus, like most places. Okay, so prepare yourselves, this is a long one. Also, forgive spelling, I'm not on mobile, I'm just tired and cannot spell. Cast, me, a 19-year-old university art student. NB, 19 to 20-year-old guy I knew from secondary school, stubble lord, bit shorter than me, I'm nearly 6 feet, and kinda pudgy with bad habits. Call out guy who called him out on his behavior, who I also know IRL from school. He's a great guy. Victim who was around 16 to 17. I've known MB and Call Out for a long time, since secondary school. And while we weren't the closest of friends in secondary school, I always enjoyed the extra company. I had no friends. Once secondary school ended, they were the only ones who stuck around. So, fast forward to late night accommodation, I was in a VC with NB, and we were both talking about Twitch when I hear an announcement of one of my most active servers by Callout Guy, and I made the mistake of reading it out loud. It said,
NB has been banned due to inappropriate activity with a minor.
Callout Guy had been told/shown this by Victim, and that although there was not evidence for every accusation, there was proof of that some of it had happened. Of course, NB has a full-on total collapse in the Discord call. At the time, I had yet to see any of the evidence. I was shown this later by Callout Guy when he had the time, so I told NB if he was innocent to prove it right now. This was my mistake because I assumed he would just screen share his DMs to prove nothing was going on, or that he had not deleted anything, since if he did, then the DM's timeline would make no sense. What I get instead is all the screenshots of all the explicit roleplays NB did with the victim, which I cannot unsee. They all seem to be to do which secondary school, late middle school, early high school for all you Americans, which was kinda disturbing when you take into account how old NB is while going on about how everything he did was consensual and that the things he said were not bad, and that the victim was the one who said all the explicit stuff. This isn't really much of an excuse, seeing as he was the adult in this situation. He should have known better to do any of this whether the minor was receptive to it or not. I would have left the call at that point, but one thing I knew about NB is that he always talked about suicidal thoughts and attempts, and I always take that kind of stuff seriously. Despite all of the disgusting stuff he did and said, I didn't want a death on my hands if I left him on his own, so I acted as if I was neutral and stayed in the call with him, though I later muted myself and left since I was getting pissed at him and what he was doing, trying to demonize Callout Guy and saying that Callout Guy was only doing this because he wanted to date Victim himself, and that Victim was only doing this because she was sour about the relationship and was trying to smear NB as clingy. When you put the dots together, it's clear she wanted out of the relationship since she was not okay with it anymore. But he wasn't okay with that, and was trying to cement himself as the victim and to try to guilt her. He began contacting everyone from the server and getting them to join the VC, trying to make them side with him as they hadn't seen the evidence of what he had done that he had sent to me. And to be honest, I'm not sure if he left stuff out since he didn't screen share when I asked. So there may be more I have not seen. Eventually, I left due to being tired and being pissed off. Later the next day, I spoke to Callout Guy and told him that I was in a call with him at the time. Callout Guy immediately apologized since he hadn't known that any of us were still awake or that I would be in a VC with him. NB has his own server. Callout Guy explained that he announced the whole thing at midnight since he assumed everyone would be asleep at the time. I forgave him since there was no way he could have known. However, I asked to see the evidence he had seen what NB had sent me, and I wanted to compare and see if there was more. There was more, in the form of an image that NB sent Victim. It was an explicit Spider-Man BDSM meme, and Callout Guy also revealed that NB had actually been in a relationship with said minor this whole time since he was around 17 to 18 years old, and that there was probably more stuff that occurred in Discord calls over the course of those years. The victim is okay, thank God, but there may have been more stuff that occurred that I have not heard, though he has been expelled from the community, so there's no chance of him doing this to them or anyone else on the server ever again. There is still the issue of him being in other servers, but I plan to talk to the server owners about that. Ideally, I'm not in my hometown due to lockdown. He knows where I live. If you're a minor and you're on Discord, watch out for people like this. If somebody older wants a relationship with you and they are aware of your age, that's a mega red flag, and they probably have much more sinister motives. Too long didn't read? NB I've known since secondary school nonsense on Discord and tried to blame the guy who called him out and the victim while trying to get the rest of us to side with him to say he failed. Little side note. He was also banned from the Discord's Minecraft server, so me and a bunch of others took the opportunity to vent frustration and lava casted his mansion and took all of his stuff. I took all of the totems of undying. Stay safe during the lockdown and stay home. Please stay home. This lockdown is driving me nuts and I just want it to end. Well, as the old saying goes, if age is just a number, jail is just a room. This reminds me of a person that I actually encountered on Discord. I won't get too much into detail, but let's just say that I'm not allowed on this server anymore. Little secret though, I'm still in it. This story is called Neckbeard Roommate Mad I Rejected Him. About 2 months ago, my boyfriend asked if his buddy, call him D. He's about 6 foot, 300 pounds, definitely has a beard on his neck. He went to a military structured school with could move in. Apparently he had a fight with his aunt that owns his apartment and was being evicted. I was hesitant at first, but he explained how D always had his back and saved his butt a couple of times at school, so I agreed that he could stay only for a few months. We went to his apartment to help him move and oh my god, that place was nasty! There was an actual wall of trash bags and even more in a little crawl space in his wall. He had 2 pet rats and the cage was obviously not kept up on. It stank so bad. My boyfriend wouldn't let me use his bathroom and I had to walk to the gas station down the street when I had to go. Apparently it was that bad. After we got him back to our apartment, we explained to him that he has to clean up after himself and I'm not a maid. He grumbled about it, but agreed. Everything was fine until me and boyfriend noticed he wasn't showering. He only showered twice the first month he was here, and he didn't want to ruin all the natural oils in his skin and hair. Gross. My boyfriend threatened to hose him down with soap outside like they did back at school. They actually had to do it a couple times back then. After that, he started showering a bit more, but then it happened. One of his rats died and he didn't notice until we walked by his room and smelled something worse than usual. My boyfriend knew that smell instantly. The school was on a farm, and they butchered and raised animals. It had to be dead for a bit to smell that bad, and D didn't notice because he's so used to smelling horrible. Recently, while my boyfriend was at work, I was cleaning the living room when D randomly came out and started talking about how if boyfriend wasn't around, we'd be dating and how he'd treat a lady like me so much better. My boyfriend treats me just fine. I straight up said no, I wouldn't be with you if boyfriend wasn't around, I'm not attracted to you. He huffed and went back to his room and has been avoiding me ever since. He only comes out when boyfriend is home and has been trying to instigate fights between us, but it's not working, making him more mad. I can't wait until he moves out. Now me being the golden weave and absolute master, I believe that NTR or cheating is absolutely disgusting. And honestly, that neckbeard, Mr. D or whatever his name was clearly in the wrong. Honestly, the girlfriend should have told her boyfriend and kicked him out probably that day. Honestly, it's just gross. This story is called Roleplay Creep. So, obligatory first time posting and all that. This story starts around a year ago. I joined a Discord server from an invite our creep gave me, and at first he was okay. Roleplayed fairly well, and he did all he could to make the server he ran better. But we all know this isn't a real story without where it goes wrong. So let's get to the storm. So it's around the time where everyone in the server normally talk together in a voice chat and people start leaving because it's getting late, and as soon as it's down to me, my friend Fee, and Creep, he starts flirting. Me being completely oblivious didn't know why Fee left till he started doing it to me.
Oh, you're so beautiful. Why not go on a date with me?
He knows I'm underage.
No thank you. You know, I'm only 15, right?
Oh, but you look so much like
some obscure character that I looked nothing like. So not much happens, but we're skipping to a year later. The secret is out that he harassed another server member, so my friends came together and made another server without him, and I didn't know what happened until I was told. He enjoyed sexually harassing people, and he enjoyed pushing relationships on people. If someone dared to be a lesbian, they got kicked, which happened to my ex that was my current girlfriend at the time. I find this out when I simply post that I'm in a relationship. He gets mad and word for word I repeat,
Why are you with that guy with all the weird shit he's done? You should be someone deserving like me.
my ex did literally nothing wrong, just breathed. My ex was male to female, and went on a tirade about how my virginity would be in better hands with a man such as him, followed by other stuff I'm not comfortable with. I was done, only responding with,
Okay. And?
I promptly got kicked, and when talking about it to my other friends, they all seemed understanding and relayed to me the same situations that happened to them. So not only is he angry and homo/transphobic, but he's generally into harassing girls that are underage. Thinking about it now, and remembering the fact he asked where I live and if I wanted to be picked up makes me feel yucky. Too long didn't read. Homo/transphobic man-child angry he can't get any action from an underage lesbian. Yeah, people like that will make their own servers and then only leave the people who justify their actions. Especially when they use mental illnesses to justify their actions even more. Like, it's just disgusting. I was in a server that had a person just like that. He was the server owner. And let's just say that he and I didn't get along very well after a little while. And, let's hope that he gets what he deserves. Well, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, give that like button a gentle tap. And if you didn't, do it anyways. Please consider subscribing and please give that bell a ring to be notified when I update. Thank you so much once more and have a golden day.